CompTIA XK0-005 CompTIA Linux Plus Exam version 2.
Question 1. A new file was added to a main Git repository. An administrator wants to synchronize a local copy with the contents of the main repository. Which of the following commands should the administrator use for this task? Option A, git reflog. Option B, git pull. Option C, git status. Option D, git push.
The correct answer is option B, git pull. The correct answer is option B because git pull best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 2. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving if $f $filename then? Option A, if $f $filename then. Option B, system+status service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, if $f $filename then. The correct answer is option A because if $f $filename then best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 3. Which of the following technologies can be used as a central repository of Linux users and groups? Option A, lightweight directory access protocol. Option B, multi-factor authentication. Option C, single sign-on. Option D, pluggable authentication modules.
The correct answer is option A, lightweight directory access protocol. The correct answer is option A because lightweight directory access protocol best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 4. A Linux administrator needs to analyze a failing application that is running inside a container. Which of the following commands allows the Linux administrator to enter the running container and analyze the logs that are stored inside? Option A, docker run-tiapp/bin/sh. Option B, podman exec-tiapp/bin/sh. Option C, podman run-dapp/bin/bash. Option D, docker exec-dapp/bin/bash.
The correct answer is option B, podman exec-tiapp/bin/sh. The correct answer is option B because podman exec-tiapp/bin/sh best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 5. A systems administrator needs to reconfigure a Linux server to allow persistent Internet Protocol version 4 packet forwarding. Which of the following commands is the correct way to accomplish this task? Option A, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/net/IPv4/IPv_forward. Option B, sysctl-wnet.IPv4.IP_forward equals 1. Option C, firewall-cmd-enable IPv4_forwarding. Option D, system+start IPv4_forwarding.
The correct answer is option B, sysctl-wnet.IPv4.IP_forward equals 1. The correct answer is option B because sysctl-wnet.IPv4.IP_forward equals 1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 6. An administrator deployed a Linux server that is running a web application on port 6379/TCP. Security Enhanced Linux is in enforcing mode based on organization policies. The port is open on the firewall. Users who are trying to connect to a local instance of the web application receive error 13, permission denied. The administrator ran some commands that resulted in the following output: $:CManage port -1 pipe egrep /http_port_t pipe 6379 http_port_t TCP 80, 81, 443, 488, 8008, 8009, 8443, 9000 number sign curl http://l. Option A, system+status service. Option B, CManage port -a-t http_port_t -p TCP 6379. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B, CManage port-a-t http://port_t-p TCP6379. The correct answer is option B because CManage port-a-t http://port_t-p TCP6379 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 7. An administrator needs to make some changes in the infrastructure as code declaration templates. Which of the following commands would maintain version control? Option A, git clone https://github.com/CompTIA/Linux Plus -git push origin. Option B, git clone https://github.com/CompTIA/Linux Plus -git fetch new branch. Option C, git clone https://github.com/CompTIA/Linux Plus -git status. Option D, git clone https://github.com/CompTIA/Linux Plus -git checkout -b less than new branch greater than.
The correct answer is option D, git clone https://github.com/CompTIA/Linux Plus -git checkout -b less than new branch greater than. The correct answer is option D because git clone https://github.com/CompTIA/Linux Plus -git checkout -b less than new branch greater than best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 8. A systems engineer is adding a new 1 GB XFS file system that should be temporarily mounted under /ops/app. Which of the following is the correct list of commands to achieve this goal? Option A, create -1g/dev/caves.xfs/dev/app/mount/dev/add-opt/app. Option B, parted/dev/sbd-script kpart primary xfs 1 gbmkfs.xfs/dev/app/add-opt/app. Option C, lvs-create 1g-name of caves.xfs/dev/app/mount/dev/add-opt/app. Option D, create -l1g-napp@vqmkfs.xfs/dev/app_vg/app_app/app.
The correct answer is option D, create -l1g-napp@vqmkfs.xfs/dev/app_vg/app-vg/app-opt/app. The correct answer is option D because create -l1g-app@vqmkfs.xfs/dev/app_vg/app-vg/app-opt/app best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 9. A Linux administrator is troubleshooting secure shell connection issues from one of the workstations. When users attempt to log in from the workstation to a server with the Internet Protocol address 104.21.75.76, they receive the following message: /SSH: connect to host 104.21.75.76 port 22 : connection refused. The administrator reviews the information below : based on the provided output, which of the following is causing the connectivity issue? Option A, the workstation has the wrong Internet Protocol settings. Option B, the SSHD service is disabled. Option C, Option D, access control policy.
The correct answer is option C. The correct answer is option C because the best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 10. Which of the following files holds the system configuration for journal when running systemd? Option A, /etc/systemd/journal.conf. Option B /etc/system/system-journal.conf. Option C /usr/lib/system/journal.conf. Option D /etc/system/system-journal.conf.
The correct answer is option A, /etc/system/journal.conf. The correct answer is option A because /etc/system/journal.conf best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 11. A systems administrator requires that all files that are created by the user named web have read-only permissions by the owner. Which of the following commands will satisfy this requirement? Option A, chown web:/home/web. Option B, cmod-r400/home/web. Option C, echo amask 377 /home/web/.bashir. Option D, setfqread/home/web.
The correct answer is option C, echo amask 377 /home/web/.bashir. The correct answer is option C because echo amask 377 /home/web/.bashir best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 12. A systems administrator is tasked with preventing logins from accounts other than root, while the file /etc/knowledge exists. Which of the following pluggable authentication modules will accomplish this task? Option A, pam_login.so. Option B, pam_access.so. Option C, pam_logindef.so. Option D, pam_knowledge.so.
The correct answer is option D, pam_knowledge.so. The correct answer is option D because pam_knowledge.so best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 13. A systems administrator has been tasked with disabling the YINC service from the environment to prevent it from being automatically and manually started. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, system-to-cancel YINCs. Option B, system-to-disable YINCs. Option C, system-to-mask YINCs. Option D, system-to-stop YINCs.
The correct answer is option C, system-to-mask YINCs. The correct answer is option C because system-to-mask YINCs best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 14. A Linux administrator is troubleshooting an issue in which an application service failed to start on a Linux server. The administrator runs a few commands and gets the following outputs: output 1 December 23, 23 14 15 root systemd 1 logsearch.service failed to start logsearch.output 2 logsearch.service log search loaded loaded /etc/systemd /system logsearch.service enabled vendor preset enabled active failed result timeout process 3267 exec start equals /usr /share /logsearch /bin /logger. Option A, system to status service. Option B, increase the timeout start USEC configuration for the logsearch.service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B. Increase the timeout start USEC configuration for the logsearch.service. The correct answer is option B because increase the timeout start USEC configuration for the logsearch.service best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 15. A Linux administrator has installed a web server, a database server, and a web application on a server. The web application should be active in order to render the web pages. After the administrator restarts the server, the website displays the following message in the browser: error establishing a database connection. The Linux administrator reviews the following relevant output from the systemd init files: unit description equals the Apache number sign hypertext transfer protocol server wants httpd init.service after equals network.targ. Option A, access control policy. Option B, package repository configuration. Option C, network routing table. Option D, requires equals myriad.service.
The correct answer is option D, requires equals myriad.service. The correct answer is option D because requires equals myriad.service best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 16. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving df-i/Oracle 1? Option A, df-i/Oracle 1. Option B, system+status service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, df-i/Oracle 1. The correct answer is option A because df-i/Oracle 1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 17. After installing some Red Hat Package Manager packages, a systems administrator discovers the last package that was installed was not needed. Which of the following commands can be used to remove the package? Option A, dnf remove package name. Option B, hap-get remove package name. Option C, rpm-i package name. Option D, apt remove package name.
The correct answer is option A, dnf remove package name. The correct answer is option A because dnf remove package name best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 18. A systems administrator is checking the system logs. The administrator wants to look at the last 20 lines of a log. Which of the following will execute the command? Option A, tail-v20. Option B, tail-n20. Option C, tail-c20. Option D, tail-l20.
The correct answer is option B, tail-n20. The correct answer is option B because tail-n20 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 19. An administrator is trying to diagnose a performance issue and is reviewing the following output: based on the provided output system properties: central processing unit: 4 vCPU memory: 40 GB disk maximum IOPS: 690 disk maximum throughput: 44 Mbps pipe: 44,000 kbps. Based on the above output, which of the following best describes the root cause? Option A. The system has reached its maximum IOPS, causing the system to be slow. Option B. The system has reached its maximum permitted throughput, therefore I/O wait is increasing. Option C. The system I. Option D. System+status service.
The correct answer is option B. The system has reached its maximum permitted throughput, therefore I/O wait is increasing. The correct answer is option B because the system has reached its maximum permitted throughput, therefore I/O wait is increasing best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 20. A systems administrator wants to test the route between Internet Protocol address 10.0.2.15 and Internet Protocol address 192.168.1.40. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, root-e get to 192.168.1.40 from 10.0.2.15. Option B, IP root get 192.163.1.40 from 10.0.2.15. Option C, IP root 192.169.1.40 to 10.0.2.15. Option D, root-and 192.168.1.40 from 10.0.2.15.
The correct answer is option B, IP root get 192.163.1.40 from 10.0.2.15. The correct answer is option B because IP root get 192.163.1.40 from 10.0.2.15 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 21. A Linux administrator was tasked with deleting all files and directories with names that are contained in the soblete.txt file. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, zargs-f cat to delete.txt-rm. Option B, rm-d-r-f to delete.txt. Option C, cat to delete.txt pipe rm-frd. Option D, cat to delete.txt pipe zargs rm-rf.
The correct answer is option D, cat to delete.txt pipe zargs rm-rf. The correct answer is option D because cat to delete.txt pipe zargs rm-rf best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 22. A Linux administrator wants to set the set user identifier of a file named dev_team.txt with 744 access rights. Which of the following commands will achieve this goal? Option A, clod 4744 dev_team.txt. Option B, clod 744-setuid dev_team.txt. Option C, clod-c 744 dev_team.txt. Option D, clod-v 4744-suid dev_team.txt.
The correct answer is option A, cmod 4744 dev_team.txt. The correct answer is option A because cmod 4744 dev_team.txt best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 23. A developer has been unable to remove a particular data folder that a team no longer uses. The developer escalated the issue to the system's administrator. #reamder data /reamder : failed to remove data /: operation not permitted #rm-rf data /rm : cannot remove data : operation not permitted #mb data /mydatum : cannot move data / to mydata : operation not permitted #cd data / cat greater than test.tspash : test.txt : permission denied. The following output was received : Which of the following commands? Option A, system-status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, shatter-r-i data /. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option C, shatter-r-i data /. The correct answer is option C because shatter-r-i data / best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 24. A cloud engineer is installing packages during virtual machine provisioning. Which of the following should the engineer use to accomplish this task? Option A, cloud-init. Option B, bash. Option C, Docker. Option D, sidecar.
The correct answer is option A, cloud-init. The correct answer is option A because cloud-init best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 25. A systems administrator is tasked with creating a cloud-based server with a public Internet Protocol address. The code is as follows: name: start an instance with a public Internet Protocol address community.abc.ec2 instance name public compute instance key name CompTIA SSH key VPC subnet ID subnet 5 CJSSH1 instance type instance.type security group CompTIA network assign public IP true image ID AMI -1234568 tags environment CompTIA items writing workshop. Which of the following technologies did the SY? Option A, access control policy. Option B, package repository configuration. Option C, Ansible. Option D, network routing table.
The correct answer is option C, Ansible. The correct answer is option C because Ansible best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 26. A Linux systems administrator is setting up a new web server and getting 404 not found errors while trying to access the web server pages from the browser. While working on the diagnosis of this issue, the Linux systems administrator executes the following commands: number sign getonforce enforcing number sign match pathkin -v /var /www /html /wildcard /var /www /html /index.html has context unconfined _ u : object _ r : user _ home _ t : s0 should be system _ u : object _ r : httpd _ sys _ content _ t : s0 /var www /html /pagel.html has context unconfined. Option A, system+status service. Option B, restorecon -r -v /var www /html. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B, restorecon -r -v /var www /html. The correct answer is option B because restorecon -r -v /var www /html best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 27. To harden one of the servers, an administrator needs to remove the possibility of remote administrative login via the secure shell service. Which of the following should the administrator do? Option A. Add the line deny users root to the /etc/hosts.deny file. Option B. Set permit root login to no in the /etc/ssh/sshd config file. Option C. Add the line account required pam _knowledge so to the /etc/pam.d/sshd file. Option D. Set pub key authentication to no in the /etc/ssh/ssh config file.
The correct answer is option B. Set permit root login to no in the /etc/ssh/sshd config file. The correct answer is option B because set permit root login to no in the /etc/ssh/sshd config file best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 28. A newly created container has been unable to start properly, and a Linux administrator is analyzing the cause of the failure. Which of the following will allow the administrator to determine the first command that is executed inside the container right after it starts? Option A, docker export container _id greater than. Option B, docker info container _id greater than. Option C, docker start container _id greater than. Option D, docker inspect container _id greater than.
The correct answer is option D, docker inspect container _id greater than. The correct answer is option D because docker inspect container _id greater than best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 29. A Linux administrator is scheduling a system job that runs a script to check available disk space every hour. The Linux administrator does not want users to be able to start the job. Given the following :unit description equals check available disk space refuse manual start equals yes refuse manual stop equals yes timer persistent equals true on calendar equals -:00:00 unit equals check disk space service install wanted by equals timers target. The Linux administrator attempts to start the timer service but receives the following error M. Option A, system+status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C. The check disk space timer should be configured to allow manual starts. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option C. The check disk space timer should be configured to allow manual starts. The correct answer is option C because the check disk space timer should be configured to allow manual starts best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 30. A Linux administrator wants to find out whether files from the uget package have been altered since they were installed. Which of the following commands will provide the correct information? Option A, rpm-iuget. Option B, RPM-QFOGET. Option C, RPM-FOGET. Option D, RPM-VOGET.
The correct answer is option D, RPM-VOGET. The correct answer is option D because RPM-VOGET best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 31. A Linux engineer set up two local domain name system servers 10.10.10.10 and 10.10.10.20 and was testing email connectivity to the local mail server using the mail command on a local machine when the following error appeared: send-mail: cannot open mail: 25. The local machine domain name system settings are $cat / etc. / resolve.conf nameserver 10.10.10.10 number sign web records nameserver 10.10.10.10 number sign email records mail server mail.example.com. Which of the following commands could the engineer use to query the domain name system server to get M? Option A, system+status service. Option B, dig@10.10.10.20 example.com mx. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B, dig@10.10.10.20 example.com mx. The correct answer is option B because dig@10.10.10.20 example.com mx best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 32. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving shatter plus a /opt/app/logs? Option A, shatter plus a /opt/app/logs. Option B, system+status service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, shatter plus a /opt/app/logs. The correct answer is option A because shatter plus a /opt/app/logs best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 33. A systems administrator needs to check if the service system-resolve.service is running without any errors. Which of the following commands will show this information? Option A, system+status system-resolve.service. Option B, system+enable system-resolve.service. Option C, system+mask system-resolve.service. Option D, system+show system-resolve.service.
The correct answer is option A, system+status system-resolve.service. The correct answer is option A because system+status system-resolve.service best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 34. A Linux administrator needs to remove software from the server. Which of the following Red Hat package manager options should be used? Option A, RPM-S. Option B, RM-D. Option C, RPM-Q. Option D, RPM-E.
The correct answer is option D, RPM-E. The correct answer is option D because RPM-E best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 35. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving fsck.ext4/dev/sda1? Option A, fsck.ext4/dev/sda1. Option B, system+status service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, fsck.ext4/dev/sda1. The correct answer is option A because fsck.ext4/dev/sda1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 36. Based on an organization's new cybersecurity policies, an administrator has been instructed to ensure that, by default, all new users and groups that are created fall within the specified values below. $min/max values for automatic UID selection in userid user identifier min 1000 UID max 60,000 $min/max values for automatic GID selection in groupad group identifier min 1000 GID max 60,000. To which of the following configuration files will the required changes need to be made? Option A /etc/login.defs. Option B /etc/security. Option C system/data service. Option D journal-exe.
The correct answer is option A /etc/login.defs. The correct answer is option A because /etc/login.defs best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 37. An administrator accidentally deleted the /boot/vim-linux file and must resolve the issue before the server is rebooted. Which of the following commands should the administrator use to identify the correct version of this file? Option A rpm-qa pipe grep kernel:/uname-a. Option B yum-y update :shutdown-r now. Option C cat /etc/centos-release :rpm-of a-nodeeps. Option D telnet1 resta-recon-rv/boot.
The correct answer is option A rpm-qa pipe grep kernel:/uname-a. The correct answer is option A because rpm-qa pipe grep kernel:/uname-a best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 38. A cloud engineer needs to change the secure remote login port from 22 to 49,000. Which of the following files should the engineer modify to change the port number to the desired value? Option A /etc/host.conf. Option B /etc/hostname. Option C /etc/services. Option D /etc/ssh/sshd_config.
The correct answer is option D /etc/ssh/sshd_config. The correct answer is option D because /etc/ssh/sshd_config best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 39. A Linux administrator needs to redirect all hypertext transfer protocol traffic temporarily to the new proxy server 192.0.2.25 on port 3128. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A iptbles-tnet-dprouting-ptcp-sport80-jdnat-to-destination 192.0.2.25:3128. Option B iptbles-tnet-prouting-ptop-port81-jdnat-to-destination 192.0.2.25:3129. Option C iptbles-tnet-prouting-ptop-sport80-jdnat-to-destination 192.0.2.25:3129. Option D iptbles-tnet-prouting-ptcp-tbo.
The correct answer is option D iptbles-tnet-prouting-ptcp-tbo. The correct answer is option D because iptbles-tnet-prouting-ptcp-tbo best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 40. Developers have requested implementation of a persistent, static root on the application server. Packets sent over the interface eth0 to 10.0.213.5/32 should be routed via DEC 10.0.5.1. Which of the following commands should the administrator run to achieve this goal? Option A root-iatho-p add 10.0.213.5 10.0.5.1. Option B root modify eth0 plus IPv4.roots 10.0.213.5/32 10.0.5.1. Option C, Echo 10.0.213.510.0.5.1 0 greater than /proc/net/root. Option D, IP root add 10.0.213.5 / 32 via 10.0.5.1 dev 0.
The correct answer is option D, IP root add 10.0.213.5 / 32 via 10.0.5.1 dev 0. The correct answer is option D because IP root add 10.0.213.5 / 32 via 10.0.5.1 dev 0 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 41. A systems administrator is deploying 3 identical, cloud-based servers. The administrator is using the following code to complete the task: resource abc_instance ec2_instance ami equals data.abc_ami.vendor-linux-2.id associate_public_ip_address equals trueCount equals 3 instance_type equals instance_type vpc_security_group_ids equals abc.security_group.allow_ssh. ID key_name equals abc_pair.key_pair.key_name tags equals name equals $var.namespace $count.index. Which of the following technologies is the option A, access control policy, option B, package repository configuration, option C, network routing table, option D, Terraform?
The correct answer is option D, Terraform. The correct answer is option D because Terraform best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 42. A systems administrator is troubleshooting connectivity issues and trying to find out why a Linux server is not able to reach other servers on the same subnet it is connected to. When listing link parameters, the following is presented: number sign IP link list dev eth02 itho less than no dash carrier, Crowdcast, multicast, up greater than MTU 1500, disk, FQ_Codel state down node default group default clan 1000 link / ether AC:0:11:22:33 CD BRD FF:/FF:/FF:/FF:/FF based on the output above. Which of following is the most probab? Option A, System status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, firewall-cmd-list-services. Option D, the network interface cable is not connected to a switch.
The correct answer is option D. The network interface cable is not connected to a switch. The correct answer is option D because the network interface cable is not connected to a switch best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 43. A Linux administrator was asked to run a container with the HTTPD server inside. This container should be exposed at port 443 of a Linux host machine while it internally listens on port 8443. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, podman run-d-p 443:8443 HTTPD. Option B, podman run-d-p 8443:443 HTTPD. Option C, podman run-d-e 443:8443 HTTPD. Option D, podman exec-p 8443:443 HTTPD.
The correct answer is option A, podman run-d-p 443:8443 HTTPD. The correct answer is option A because podman run-d-p 443:8443 HTTPD best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 44. A systems administrator needs to clone the partition /dev/sdc1 to /dev/sdd1. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, tar-cdzf/dev/sdd1 /dev/sdc1. Option B, rsync/dev/SDC1/dev/SDD1. Option C, ddif =dev/SDC1 of =dev/SDD1. Option D, scp/dev/SDC1/dev/SDD1.
The correct answer is option C, ddif =dev/SDC1 of =dev/SDD1. The correct answer is option C because ddif =dev/SDC1 of =dev/SDD1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 45. When trying to log in remotely to a server, a user receives the following message: password last failed login Wednesday September 15, 17:23:45 CESR 2021 from 10.0.4.3 on SSH naughty. There were 3 failed login attempts since the last successful login. Connection to localhost closed. The server administrator is investigating the issue on the server and receives the following outputs: output 1 user x 1000 and 1:7374 forward /home /user bin /false output 2 dzwx -- 2 user 62 September 15, 17:17 /home /user output 3 September 1st. Option A, system-to-status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, firewall-cmd-list-services. Option D, the user has the wrong shell assigned to the account.
The correct answer is option D. The user has the wrong shell assigned to the account. The correct answer is option D because the user has the wrong shell assigned to the account best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 46. A new Linux systems administrator just generated a pair of secure shell keys that should allow connection to the servers. Which of the following commands can be used to copy a key file to remote servers? Choose 2. Option A, uget. Option B, ssh-keygen. Option C, ssh-keyscan. Option D, ssh-copy-id. Option E, ftpd. Option F, scp.
The correct answers are options D and F, ssh-copy-id, SCP. The correct answer is option D, F, because ssh-copy-id and SCP best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 47. A Linux administrator would like to use system to schedule a job to run every 2 hours. The administrator creates timer and service definitions and restarts the server to load these new configurations. After the restart, the administrator checks the log file and notices that the job is only running daily. Which of the following is most likely causing the issue? Option A, the checklist-space.service is not running. Option B, the checklist-space.service needs to be enabled. Option C, the on-calendar schedule is incur. Option D, system-to-status service.
The correct answer is option C. The on-calendar schedule is incur. The correct answer is option C because the on-calendar schedule is incur best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 48. A systems administrator created a web server for the company and is required to add a tag for the application programming interface so end users can connect. Which of the following would the administrator do to complete this requirement? Option A, hostname-no-ask-password. Option B, hostname-set-hostname $%pearl-luprint AX86. Option C, hostname-set-hostname CompTIA-webnode-hroot at 192.168.2.14. Option D, hostname-set-hostname CompTIA-webnode-transient. The correct answer is option C, hostname-set-hostname CompTIA-webnode-hroot at 192.168.2.14. The correct answer is option C because hostname-set-hostname CompTIA-webnode-hroot at 192.168.2.14 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question. Question 49. A systems administrator wants to back up the directory /data and all its contents to /backup /data on a remote server named remote. Which of the following commands will achieve the desired effect? Option A, scp-p /data remote /backup /data. Option B, ssh-i /remote /backup /data. Option C, rsync-a /data remote /backup /. Option D, cp-r /data remote /backup /.
The correct answer is option C, rsync-a /data remote /backup /. The correct answer is option C because rsync-a/data remote /backup best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 50. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving quad-t files? Option A, system+data service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, firewall-cmd-list-services. Option D, quad-t files.
The correct answer is option D, quad-t files. The correct answer is option D because quad-t files best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 51. Which of the following commands will display the operating system? Option A, uname-n. Option B, uname-s. Option C, uname-o. Option D, uname-m.
The correct answer is option C, uname-o. The correct answer is option C because uname-o best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 52. A Linux administrator recently downloaded a software package that is currently in a compressed file. Which of the following commands will extract the files? Option A, unzip-v. Option B, zip2-z. Option C, zip. Option D, funzip.
The correct answer is option C, zip. The correct answer is option C because zip best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 53. A Linux administrator is tasked with creating resources using containerization. When deciding how to create this type of deployment, the administrator identifies some key features, including portability, high availability, and scalability in production. Which of the following should the Linux administrator choose for the new design? Option A, Docker. Option B, on-premises systems. Option C, cloud-based systems. Option D, Kubernetes.
The correct answer is option D, Kubernetes. The correct answer is option D because Kubernetes best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 54. Which of the following tools is commonly used for creating continuous integration / continuous delivery pipelines? Option A, Chef. Option B, Puppet. Option C, Jenkins. Option D, Ansible.
The correct answer is option C, Jenkins. The correct answer is option C because Jenkins best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 55. A Linux administrator is troubleshooting the root cause of a high central processing unit load and average. $uptime 07:30:43 up 20 days, 3 minutes, 1 user, load average 2.98, 3.62, 5.21 top PID user PRNIVIRT residential SHRS central processing unit MEM time plus command 60-295 user 130-10 5465 56,465 8250 for our 86.51.57:35.25 app $1 PS-EF pipe grep user 1 user 6295 17:42:19 TTY/106:48:29/USR/local/bin/appl. Which of the following commands will permanently resolve the issue? Option A, renus-n-26295. Option B, stri-p6295. Option C, ISDAT-SY15. Option D, kill dash.
The correct answer is option D, kill dash. The correct answer is option D because kill dash best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 56. A Linux administrator needs to ensure that Java 7 and Java 8 are both locally available for developers to use when deploying containers. Currently only Java 8 is available. Which of the following commands should the administrator run to ensure both versions are available? Option A, Docker image load Java:7. Option B, Docker image pull Java:7. Option C, Docker image import Java:7. Option D, Docker image build Java:7.
The correct answer is option B, Docker image pull Java:7. The correct answer is option B because Docker image pull Java:7 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 57. Which of the following is a function of a bootloader? Option A. It initializes all the devices that are required to load the operating system. Option B. It mounts the root file system that is required to load the operating system. Option C. It helps to load the different kernels to initiate the operating system startup process. Option D. It triggers the start of all the system services.
The correct answer is option C. It helps to load the different kernels to initiate the operating system startup process. The correct answer is option C because it helps to load the different kernels to initiate the operating system startup process best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 58. A systems administrator configured firewall rules using firewalled. However, after the system is rebooted, the firewall rules are not present: chain input policy except target prod opt source destination chain forward policy except target prod opt source destination chain output policy except target prod opt source destination. The systems administrator makes additional checks: dynamic firewall daemon loaded loaded /usr /lib /system / firewall.service disabled. Vendor preset (n). Option A, System status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, firewall-cmd-list services. Option D, the firewalled service is not enabled.
The correct answer is option D. The firewalled service is not enabled. The correct answer is option D because the firewalled service is not enabled best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 59. A Linux administrator is trying to remove the access control list from the file /home/user/data txt but receives the following error message: setfile:/data.txt operation not permitted given the following analysis: /dev/mapper/linux-home on/home type xfsrw relatime cyclable etcher2 inode 64 user quota -rw-r-+1 user staff 2354 September 15, 16:33 data.txt-rw-r-+, user staff unconfined _u:_object_r:_user _home_t:/s0 data.txt number sign file data.txt number sign owner user number sign group staff user rw-user accounting rw-gru. Option A, System status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, firewall-cmd-list services. Option D, file attributes or preventing file modification.
The correct answer is option D. File attributes are preventing file modification. The correct answer is option D because file attributes are preventing file modification best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 60. A Linux administrator needs to create a new cloud.pio archive containing all the files from the current directory. Which of the following commands can help to accomplish this task? Option A, ls-pipepio-4 greater than cloud.epio. Option B, ls-pipepio-4 less than cloud.epio. Option C, ls-pipepio-ov greater than cloud.pio. Option D, lspio-ov less than cloud.pio.
The correct answer is option C, lspio-ov greater than cloud.pio. The correct answer is option C because lspio-ov greater than cloud.pio best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 61. A systems administrator made some changes in the ~/.bash file and added an alias command. When the administrator tried to use the alias command, it did not work. Which of the following should be executed first? Option A, source ~/.bash. Option B, read ~/.bash. Option C, touch ~/.bash. Option D, echo ~/.bash.
The correct answer is option A, source ~/.bash. The correct answer is option A because source ~/.bash best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 62. A junior systems administrator has just generated public and private authentication keys for passwordless login. Which of the following files will be moved to the remote servers? Option A, id_dsa.pem. Option B, id_rsa. Option C, id_exa. Option D, id_rsa.pub.
The correct answer is option D, id_rsa.pub. The correct answer is option D because id_rsa.pub best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 63. A Linux administrator cloned an existing Linux server and built a new server from that clone. The administrator encountered the following error after booting the cloned server: device mismatch detected. The administrator performed the commands listed below to further troubleshoot and mount the missing file system: ls-l/dev/by-uuid/total0 drwxr-xr-x2 root 220 July 8 :59. drwxr-xr-x2 root 160 July 8 :59. Point 1 rwxrwxrwx1 root July 26 11 :10 2251 a54-6 c14-9187-df8629373 greater than / /sdb1r. Option A, system status service. Option B, journal-exe. Option C, mount disk by -label. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option C, mount disk by -label. The correct answer is option C because mount disk by -label best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 64. A systems administrator installed a new software program on a Linux server. When the systems administrator tries to run the program, the following message appears on the screen: hardware virtualization support is not available on this system. Either is not present or disables in the system's BIOS. Which of the following commands will allow the systems administrator to check whether the system supports virtualization? Option A, midicode-s system-version. Option B, lspio. Option C, sysctl-a. Option D, cat/sys/device/syst.
The correct answer is option B, lspio. The correct answer is option B because lspio best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 65. A Linux administrator created the directory /project/access-to-all. By creating this directory, the administrator is trying to avoid the deletion or modification of files from non-owners. Which of the following will accomplish this goal? Option A, cmod+t/project/access-to-all. Option B, cmod+rws/project/access-to-all. Option C, cmod2700/project/access-to-all. Option D, cmod-ugo+rwx/project/access-to-all.
The correct answer is option C, cmod2770/project/access-to-all. The correct answer is option C because cmod2770/project/access-to-all best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 66. A Linux systems administrator needs to persistently enable Internet Protocol version 4 forwarding in one of the Linux systems. Which of the following commands can be used together to accomplish this task? Choose 2. Option A, sysctl.net.ipv4.ip_forward. Option B, sysctl-wnet.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1. Option C, echonet.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1 greater than /etc//sysctl.conf. Option D, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/net/ipv4/ip_forward. Option E, sysctl-p. Option F, echonet.ipv6.conf.all.forwarding equals L greater than /etc//sysctl.conf.
The correct answers are options B and C. sysctl-wnet.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1. echonet.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1 greater than /etc//sysctl.conf. The correct answer is option B, C, because sysctl-wnet.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1 and echonet.ipv4.ip_forward equals 1 greater than /etc//sysctl.conf best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 67. Due to low disk space, a Linux administrator finding and removing all log files that were modified more than 180 days ago. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, find /var/log-type d-time plus 180-print-exec-rm \semicolon. Option B, find /var/log-type f-modified plus 180-rm. Option C, find /var/log-type f-time plus 180-exec-rm \. Option D, find /var/log-type c-time plus 180-remove.
The correct answer is option C, find /var/log-type f-time plus 180-exec-rm \. The correct answer is option C, because find /var/log-type f-time plus 180-exec-rm \. best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 68. A junior administrator is setting up a new Linux server that is intended to be used as a router at a remote site. Which of the following parameters will accomplish this goal? Option A, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/net/ipv4/ip_forward diptables-tnet-a per routing -ith0-j masquerade. Option B, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/net/ipv4/ip_forward diptables-tnet-d postrouting-oth0-j masquerade. Option C, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/ipv4/ip_forward diptables-tnet-a postrouting-oth0-j masquerade. Option D, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/ipv4/ip_forward
The correct answer is option C, echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/net/ipv4/ip_forward diptables-tnet-a postrouting-oth0-j masquerade. The correct answer is option C, because echo 1 greater than /proc/sys/net/ipv4/ip_forward diptables-tnet-a postrouting-oth0-j masquerade best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 69. Some servers in an organization have been compromised. Users are unable to access to the organization's web page and other services. While reviewing the system log, a systems administrator notices messages from the kernel regarding firewall rules: based on the provided output, which of the following commands will remediate and help resolve the issue? Option A, itables-a forward-if0-ptcp-port 80-jaccept itables-a forward-if0-ptcp-port 22-j accept. Option B, itables-a input-if0-ptcp-port. Option C, system-status service. Option D, journal-exe.
The correct answer is option B. Itables-a input-if0-ptcp-port. The correct answer is option B because itables-a input-if0-ptcp-port best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 70. A junior administrator is trying to set up a passwordless secure shell connection to one of the servers. The administrator follows the instructions and puts the key in the authorized_key file at the server, but the administrator is still asked to provide a password during the connection. Given the following output: junior at server equals $ls-lh.ssh/auth wildcard-rw-1 junior 566 September 12, 20:56.ssh/authorized_key. Which of the following commands would resolve the issue and allow an secure shell connection to be? Option A, system-status service. Option B, mv.ssh/authorized_key.ssh/authorized_keys. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B, mv.ssh/authorized_key.ssh/authorized_keys. The correct answer is option B because mv.ssh/authorized_key.ssh/authorized_keys best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 71. A Linux administrator needs to resolve a service that has failed to start. The administrator runs the following command: ls-1 startup file. The following output is return ---- root 81k September 13, 19:01 startup file. Which of the following is most likely the issue? Option A. The service does not have permissions to read-write the startup file. Option B. The service startup file size cannot be 81k. Option C. The service startup file cannot be owned by root. Option D. The service startup file should not be owned by T.
The correct answer is option A. The service does not have permissions to read-write the startup file. The correct answer is option A because the service does not have permissions to read-write the startup file best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 72. A Linux engineer is setting the sticky bit on a directory called DevOps with 755 file permission. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, chown-s 755 DevOps. Option B, chown 1755 DevOps. Option C, chmod-s 755 DevOps. Option D, chmod 1755 DevOps.
The correct answer is option D, chmod 1755 DevOps. The correct answer is option D because chmod 1755 DevOps best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 73. A Linux administrator booted up the server and was presented with a non-graphical user interface terminal. The administrator ran the command system-isolate graphical.target and rebooted the system by running system-reboot, which fixed the issue. However, the next day the administrator was presented again with a non-graphical user interface terminal. Which of the following is the issue? Option A. The administrator did not reboot the server properly. Option B. The administrator did not set the default target to basic.target. Option C. The administrator. Option D, system-status service.
The correct answer is option C, the administrator. The correct answer is option C because the administrator best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 74. Users report that connections to a MariaDB service are being closed unexpectedly. A systems administrator troubleshoots the issue and finds the following message in /var/log/messages: server kernel out of memory killed process 1234 MySQLD. Which of the following is causing the connection issue? Option A. The process MySQLD is using too many semaphores. Option B. The server is running out of file descriptors. Option C. Something is starving the server resources. Option D. The amount of random access memory allocated to the server is.
The correct answer is option C. Something is starving the server resources. The correct answer is option C because something is starving the server resources best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 75. A developer is trying to install an application remotely that requires a graphical interface for installation. The developer requested assistance to set up the necessary environment variables along with X11 forwarding in Secure Shell. Which of the following environment variables must be set in Remote Shell in order to launch the graphical interface? Option A $rost. Option B ctenv. Option C $shell. Option D $display.
The correct answer is option D, $display. The correct answer is option D because $display best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 76. A systems administrator is implementing a new service task with systems at startup and needs to execute a script entitled test.sh with the following content: timestamp equals $data equals %y-%m-%d%h:%m:%s echo help me .service timestamp $timestamp pipe system -cat-p info sleep 60 done. The administrator tries to run the script after making it executable with Cmod +X semicolon. However, the script will not run. Which of the following should the administrator do to address this issue? Choose 2. Option A. Add &. Option B. Create a unit file for the new service in // etc. /system with the name helpme.service in the location .c. Add &. // bin /bash to the top of the script. Option C. Create a unit file for the new service in // etc. /system with the name helpme.service in the location .c. Add &. // bin // bash to the top of the script. Option D. System status service. Option E. journal-exe.
The correct answers are options B and C. Create a unit file for the new service in // etc. /system with the name helpme.service in the location .c. Add &/ bin // bash to the top of the script. Create a unit file for the new service in // etc. /system with the name helpme.service in the location .c. Add &/ bin // bash to the top of the script. The correct answer is option B, C because create a unit file for the new service in // etc. /system with the name helpme.service in the location .c. Add &/ bin // to the top of the script and create a unit file for the new service in // etc. /system with the name helpme.service in the location .c. Add &/ bin // to the top of the script best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 77. A Linux administrator needs to correct the permissions of a log file on the server. Which of the following commands should be used to set filename.log permissions to -rwxr-r-? Option A. Cmod 755 filename.log. Option B. Cmod 640 filename.log. Option C. Cmod 740 filename.log. Option D. Cmod 744 filename.log.
The correct answer is option D, Cmod 744 filename.log. The correct answer is option D because Cmod 744 filename.log best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 78. After listing the properties of a system account, a systems administrator wants to remove the expiration date of a user account. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, chgrp system account name. Option B, password-s account name. Option C, cmod-g system account name. Option D, chage-e-1 account name.
The correct answer is option D, chage-e-1 account name. The correct answer is option D because chage-e-1 account name best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 79. A systems administrator wants to be sure the sudo rules just added to /etc/sudoers are valid. Which of the following commands can be used for this task? Option A, vsudo-c. Option B, test-f/etc/sudoers. Option C, sudo 6check. Option D, cat/etc/sudoers pipe t-test.
The correct answer is option A, vsudo-c. The correct answer is option A because vsudo-c best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 80. A user generated a pair of private-public keys on a workstation. Which of the following commands will allow the user to upload the public key to a remote server and enable passwordless login? Option A, scp://id_rsa user at server:/. Option B, rsync://.ssh/user at server:/. Option C, ssh-ed user server. Option D, ssh-copy-id user at server.
The correct answer is option D, ssh-copy-id user at server. The correct answer is option D because ssh-copy-id user at server best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 81. A Linux administrator created a new file system. Which of the following files must be updated to ensure the file system mounts at boot time? Option A, /etc/sysctl. Option B, /etc/file systems. Option C, /etc/stab. Option D, /etc/envsmount.conf.
The correct answer is option C, /etc/stab. The correct answer is option C because /etc/stab best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 82. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving kill-9 8321? Option A, systemd status service. Option B, kill-9 8321. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B, kill-9 8321. The correct answer is option B because kill-9 8321 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 83. A systems administrator made some unapproved changes prior to leaving the company. The newly hired administrator has been tasked with revealing the system to a compliant state. Which of the following commands will list and remove the correspondent packages? Option A, DNF list and DNF remove last. Option B, DNF remove and DNF check. Option C, DNF info and DNF upgrade. Option D, DNF history and DNF history undo last.
The correct answer is option D, DNF history and DNF history undo last. The correct answer is option D because DNF history and DNF history undo last best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 84. An administrator transferred a key for secure shell authentication to a home directory on a remote server. The key file was moved to .sh/authorized_keys location in order to establish secure shell connection without a password. However, the secure shell command still asked for the password. Given the following output: :admin at linux $-ls-lhc.sh/auth wildcard-rw-r-r-. Admin unconfirmed _u:_object _ user _home _t:/authorized _keys. Which of the following commands would resolve the issue? Option A, restorecon.ssh /authorized _co. Option B, system-to-status service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, restorecon.ssh /authorized _co. The correct answer is option A because restorecon.ssh /authorized _co best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 85. A cloud engineer needs to remove all dangling images and delete all the images that do not have an associated container. Which of the following commands will help to accomplish this task? Option A, docker images prune-a. Option B, docker push images-a. Option C, docker rmi-a images. Option D, docker images rmi-all.
The correct answer is option A, docker images prune-a. The correct answer is option A because docker images prune-a best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 86. A Linux system is failing to boot with the following error: no such partition entering rescue mode. Grub rescue greater than. Which of the following actions will resolve this issue? Choose 2. Option A, execute grub-install-root-directory =/mnt and reboot. Option B, execute grub-install/dev/sdx and reboot. Option C, interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add rescue to the kernel line. Option D, fix the partition modifying /etc/default/grub and reboot. Option E, interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add sing. Option F, execute grub-install/dev/sdx and reboot.f, boot the system on a live cd/ISO.
The correct answers are options B and F. Execute grub-install/dev/sdx and reboot. Execute grub-install/dev/sdx and reboot.f, boot the system on a live cd/ISO. The correct answer is option B, F, because execute grub-install/dev/sdx and reboot and execute grub-install/dev/sdx and reboot.f, boot the system on a live cd/ISO best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 87. A Linux administrator needs to create an image named sda.img from the SDA disk and store it in the /tmp directory. Which of the following commands should be used to accomplish this task? Option A, dd of =/dev/sda if =/tmp/sda.img. Option B, dd if =/dev/sda of =/tmp/sda.img. Option C, dd ---- if =/dev/sda-- of =/tmp/sda.img. Option D, dd ---- of =/dev/sda-- if =/tmp/sda.img.
The correct answer is option B, dd if =/dev/sda of =/tmp/sda.img. The correct answer is option B because dd if =/dev/sda of =/tmp/sda.img best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 88. A Linux administrator is creating a primary partition on the replacement hard drive for an application server. Which of the following commands should the administrator issue to verify the device name of this partition? Option A, sudo fdisk/dev/sda. Option B, sudo fdisk-s/dev/sda. Option C, sudo fdisk-l. Option D, sudo fdisk-h.
The correct answer is option C, sudo fdisk-l. The correct answer is option C because sudo fdisk-l best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 89. A systems administrator is investigating why one of the servers has stopped connecting to the internet. #curl http://google.com curl:6 could not resolve host google.com cat / etc / resolve.conf search user.company.com company.com name server 10.10.10.10 IP root 0.0.0.0 via 10.0.5.1 deveth 0 protostatic metric 10,000 and 10.0.0.0 / 16 deveth 0 proto kernel scope link src 10.0.3.60 metric 101 #McLeod connection. Show which of the following is causing the issue. Option A. The domain name system address has been come. Option B. System+Data service. Option C. journal-exe. Option D. firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A. The domain name system address has been come. The correct answer is option A because the domain name system address has been come best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 90. A systems administrator is tasked with installing Grand Unified Bootloader on the legacy master boot record of the SATA hard drive. Which of the following commands will help the administrator accomplish this task? Option A. grub-install /dev/da. Option B. grub-install /dev/sda. Option C. grub-install /dev/sr0. Option D. grub-install /dev/hd00.
The correct answer is option B. grub-install /dev/sda. The correct answer is option B because grub-install /dev/sda best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 91. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving system-isolate graphical.target? Option A. System+Data service. Option B. System-isolate graphical.target. Option C. journal-exe. Option D. firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B. System-isolate graphical.target. The correct answer is option B because system-isolate graphical.target best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 92. A Linux administrator is tasked with adding users to the system. However, the administrator wants to ensure the user's access will be disabled once the project is over. The expiration date should be 2021-09-30. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A. sudo user-e 2021-09-30 project_user. Option B. sudo user-c 2021-09-30 project_user. Option C. sudo modinfo-f 2021-09-30 project_uses. Option D. sudo user-m-d 2021-09-30 project_user.
The correct answer is option A. sudo user-e 2021-09-30 project_user. The correct answer is option A because sudo user-e 2021-09-30 project_user best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 93. A DevOps engineer needs to download a Git repository from https://git.company.com/admin/project.git. Which of the following commands will achieve this goal? Option A. git clone https://git.company.com/admin/project.git. Option B. git checkout https://git.company.com/admin/project.git. Option C. git pull https://git.company.com/admin/project.git. Option D. git branch https://git.company.com/admin/project.git.
The correct answer is option A. Git clone https://git.company.com/admin/project.git. The correct answer is option A because git clone https://git.company.com/admin/project.git best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 94. An administrator installed an application from source into /opt/operations1/ and has received numerous reports that users are not able to access the application without having to use the full path /opt/operations1/bin/wildcard. Which of the following commands should be used to resolve this issue? Option A, echo export path equals $path $opt/operations1/bin >etc/profile. Option B, echo export path equals /opt/operations1/bin >etc/profile. Option C, echo export path equals $path $opt/operations1/bin >etc/profile. Option D, echo export $pat.
The correct answer is option A, echo export path equals $path $opt/operations1/bin >etc/profile. The correct answer is option A because echo export path equals $path $opt/operations1/bin >etc/profile best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 95. A Linux system is getting an error indicating the root file system is full. Which of the following commands should be used by the system's administrator to resolve this issue? Choose 3. Option A, df-h/. Option B, fdisk-1/dev/sdb. Option C, gropart/dev/mapper/rit-ritv. Option D, create/dev/sdb. Option E, lresize-l plus 10g- or /dev/mapper/rit-ritv. Option F, lsblk/dev/sdag. parted-l/dev/mapper/rit-ritv. dgextend/dev/rit/dev/sdb.
The correct answers are options D and E, create/dev/sdb, lresize-l plus 10g- or /dev/mapper/rit-ritv. The correct answer is option D, E because create/dev/sdb and lresize-l plus 10g- or /dev/mapper/rit-ritv best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 96. A cloud engineer is asked to copy the file deployment.yaml from a container to the host where the container is running. Which of the following commands can accomplish this task? Option A, docker cp container_id/deployment.yaml. Option B, docker cp container_id:/deployment.yaml. Option C, docker cp deployment.yaml local://deployment.yaml. Option D, docker cp container_id/deployment.yaml local://deployment.yaml.
The correct answer is option B, docker cp container_id:/deployment.yaml. The correct answer is option B because docker cp container_id:/deployment.yaml best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 97. A Linux system is failing to start due to issues with several critical system processes. Which of the following options can be used to boot the system into the single-user mode? Choose 2. Option A, execute the following command from the Grand Unified Bootloader rescue shell :mount-o remount, ro/sysret. Option B, interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals single in the kernel line. Option C, interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals rescue.target in the kernel line. Option D, interrupt the boot. Option E. Interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals rescue.target in the kernel line. E. Interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add init equals /bin/bash in the kernel line.
The correct answers are options C and E. Interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals rescue.target in the kernel line. Interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals rescue.target in the kernel line. E. Interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add init equals /bin/bash in the kernel line. The correct answer is option C, E, because interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals rescue.target in the kernel line and interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add system.unit equals rescue.target in the kernel line. E. Interrupt the boot process in the Grand Unified Bootloader menu and add init equals /bin/bash in the kernel line best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 98. A DevOps engineer needs to allow incoming traffic to ports in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 on a Linux server. Which of the following commands will enforce this rule? Option A. iptables-f filter-I input-ptcp-port 4000:5000-A accept. Option B. iptables-t filter-A input-ptcp-port 4000:5000-J accept. Option C. iptables filter-A input-ptcp-port 4000:5000-D accept. Option D. iptables filter-S input-ptcp-port 4000:5000-A accept.
The correct answer is option B. iptables-t filter-A input-ptcp-port 4000:5000-J accept. The correct answer is option B because iptables-t filter-A input-ptcp-port 4000:5000-J accept best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 99. A Linux administrator needs to determine whether a hostname is in the domain name system. Which of the following would supply the information that is needed? Option A. ENSLookup. Option B. RSYN. Option C. Netstat. Option D. Host.
The correct answer is option A, ENSLookup. The correct answer is option A because ENSLookup best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 100. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving the Internet Protocol netmask is wrong for ENS3? Option A. System+Status Service. Option B. The Internet Protocol netmask is wrong for ENS3. Option C. Journal-XE. Option D. Firewall-CMD-list-services.
The correct answer is option B. The Internet Protocol netmask is wrong for ENS3. The correct answer is option B because the Internet Protocol netmask is wrong for ENS3 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 101. A cloud engineer needs to block the Internet Protocol address 192.168.10.50 from accessing a Linux server. Which of the following commands will achieve this goal? Option A. iptables-f input-j 192.168.10.50-m drop. Option B. iptables-a input-s 192.168.10.30-j drop. Option C. iptables-I input-IPv 4 192.168.10.50-C drop. Option D. iptables-j input 192.168.10.50-P drop.
The correct answer is option B. iptables-a input-s 192.168.10.30-J drop. The correct answer is option B because iptables-a input-s 192.168.10.30-J drop best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 102. A Linux systems administrator is configuring a new file system that needs the capability to be mounted persistently across reboots. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Choose 2. Option A df-h/data. Option B mkfs.ext4/dev/sdc1. Option C fsck/dev/sdc1. Option D disk-l/dev/sdc1. Option E echo/data/dev/sdc1 ext4 defaults 00 >etc/stab. Option F echo/dev/sdc1 /data ext4 defaults 00 >etc/stab.
The correct answers are options B and F, mkfs.ext4/dev/sdc1, echo/dev/sdc1 /data ext4 defaults 00 >etc/stab. The correct answer is option B, F, because mkfs.ext4/dev/sdc1 and echo/dev/sdc1 /data ext4 defaults 00 >etc/stab best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 103. A Linux administrator is alerted to a storage capacity issue on a server without a specific mount point or directory. Which of the following commands would be most helpful for troubleshooting? Choose 2. Option A parted. Option B df. Option C mount. Option D do. Option E disk. Option F ddg. ls.
The correct answers are options B and D, df, do. The correct answer is option B, D, because df and do best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 104. A systems administrator pressed Ctrl+C after starting a program using the command line, and the shell prompt was presented. In order to go back to the program, which of the following commands can the administrator use? Option A fg, Option B su, Option C bg, Option D head.
The correct answer is option A, fg. The correct answer is option A because fg best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 105. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving vmstat? Option A vmstat. Option B access control policy. Option C package repository configuration. Option D network routing table.
The correct answer is option A, vmstat. The correct answer is option A because vmstat best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 106. Which of the following technologies provides load balancing, encryption, and observability in containerized environments? Option A virtual private network. Option B sidecar pod. Option C overlay network. Option D service mesh.
The correct answer is option D, service mesh. The correct answer is option D because service mesh best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 107. A development team asks an engineer to guarantee the persistency of journal log files across system reboots. Which of the following commands would accomplish this task? Option A grep-i auto/etc/system/journal.conf and system to restart system-journal.service. Option B cat/etc/system/journal.conf pipe print $1, $3. Option C sed-is/auto/persistent/etc/system/journal.conf and sed-i persistent/q/etc/system/journal.conf. Option D journal-list-boots and system to restart system-journal.se.
The correct answer is option C, sed-is/auto/persistent/etc/system/journal.conf and sed-i persistent/$&(q/system/journal.conf. The correct answer is option C because sed-is/auto/persistent/etc/system/journal.conf and sed-persistent/q/system/system/journal.conf best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 108. A systems administrator is receiving tickets from users who cannot reach the application app that should be listening on port 9443/TCP on a Linux server. To troubleshoot the issue, the systems administrator runs netstat and receives the following output: $netstat-anp pipe grep upt pipe grep-wlisten TCP 00127.0.0.1:9443 wildcard listen 1234/upt. Based on the information above, which of the following is causing the issue? Option A. The Internet Protocol address 0.0.0.0 is not valid. Option B. The application is listening. Option C. System status service. Option D. journal-exe.
The correct answer is option B. The application is listening. The correct answer is option B because the application is listening best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 109. A systems administrator is troubleshooting a connectivity issue pertaining to access to a system named db.example.com. The system Internet Protocol address should be 192.168.20.88. The administrator issues the dig command and receives the following output: answer selection sb.example.com 15 in a 191.168.20.89. The administrator runs grep db.example.com/etc/hosts and receives the following output: 192.168.20.89 db.example.com. Given this scenario, which of the following should the administrator do to add? Option A. System status service. Option B. journal-exe. Option C. firewall-cmd-list-services. Option D. Modify the /etc/hosts file and change the db.example.com entry to 192.168.20.88.
The correct answer is option D. Modify the /etc/hosts file and change the db.example.com entry to 192.168.20.88. The correct answer is option D because modify the /etc/hosts file and change the db.example.com entry to 192.168.20.88 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 110. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving no default root is set on the server? Option A. System status service. Option B. journal-exe. Option C. No default root is set on the server. Option D. firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option C. No default root is set on the server. The correct answer is option C because no default root is set on the server best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 111. A systems technician is working on deploying several microservices to various Red Hat Package Manager-based systems, some of which could run up to 2 hours. Which of the following commands will allow the technician to execute those services and continue deploying other microservices within the same terminal section? Option A. Gedite and disown. Option B. Kill 9%1. Option C. FG%1. Option D. BG%1 job name.
The correct answer is option D. BG%1 job name. The correct answer is option D because BG%1 job name best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 112. A Linux administrator was notified that a virtual server has an input-output bottleneck. The Linux administrator analyzes the following output: output 1 2 F0 less than broadcast, multicast, up, lower underscore up greater than MTU 1500 disk no Q state up group default clan 1000 link / ether AC 11 22 33 44 CD BRD FF 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 in at 192.168.168.10 24 BRD 192.168.169.255 scope global dynamic prefix ret eth0 valid underscore LFT 8097 SEC. Preferred underscore LFT 8097 SEC init FE 80 4 DAF 8 C7 C A6 FF 2771 / 64 scope link prefix ret valid underscore. Option A, System status service. Option B, the central processing unit is overloaded. Option C, journal-xe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B. The central processing unit is overloaded. The correct answer is option B because the central processing unit is overloaded best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 113. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving setfical-mg:finance:rw file? Option A, System status service. Option B, journal-xe. Option C, firewall-cmd-list-services. Option D, setfical-mg:finance:_rw file.
The correct answer is option D, setfical-mg:finance:_rw file. The correct answer is option D because setfical-mg:finance:_rw file best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 114. A Linux engineer needs to create a custom script, cleanup.sh, to run at boot as part of the system services. Which of the following processes would accomplish this task? Option A, create a unit file in the /etc/ default /directory.systempl enable cleanup systempl is -enabled cleanup. Option B, create a unit file in the /etc/ /ske1 /directory.systempl enable cleanup systempl is -enabled cleanup. Option C, create a unit file in the /etc/ /system /directory.systempl enable cleanup systempl is -enabled cleanup D. Option D, System status service.
The correct answer is option C. Create a unit file in the /etc/ /system /system /directory.systempl enable cleanup systempl is -enabled cleanup D. The correct answer is option C because create a unit file in the /etc/ /system /system /directory.systempl enable cleanup systempl is -enabled cleanup D best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 115. A Linux system is failing to boot. The following error is displayed in the serial console: :1:33 mdepend-om dependency failed for /data. 1:33 mdepend-om dependency failed for local file systems. Welcome to emergency mode. After logging in, type journal-xb to view system logs, system to reboot, system to default to try again to boot into default mode. Give root password for maintenance or type Ctrl-D to continue. Which of the following files will need to be modified? Option A, System status service. Option B, journal-xe. Option C, /etc/ /stab. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option C, /etc/ /stab. The correct answer is option C because /etc/ /stab best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 116. A systems administrator frequently connects to a remote host via secure shell and a non-standard port. The systems administrator would like to avoid passing the port parameter on the command line every time. Which of the following files can be used to set a different port value for that host? Option A, /etc/ssh/sshd_config. Option B, /etc/ssh/moduli. Option C, ~/.ssh/config. Option D, ~/.ssh/authorized_keys.
The correct answer is option C, ~/.ssh/config. The correct answer is option C because ~/.ssh/config best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 117. A Linux administrator modified the secure shell configuration file. Which of the following commands should be used to apply the configuration changes? Option A, system-to-stop SSHD. Option B, system-to-mask SSHD. Option C, system-to-reload SSHD. Option D, system-to-start SSHD.
The correct answer is option C, system-to-reload SSHD. The correct answer is option C because system-to-reload SSHD best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 118. A cloud engineer needs to check the link status of a network interface named eth1 in a Linux server. Which of the following commands can help to achieve the goal? Option A, ifconfig hweth1. Option B, netstat-eth1. Option C, ss-ti-eth1. Option D, ip-link show eth1.
The correct answer is option D, ip-link show eth1. The correct answer is option D because ip-link show eth1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 119. A systems administrator is tasked with setting up key-based secure shell authentication. In which of the following locations should the administrator place the public keys for the server? Option A, ~/.sshd/auth keys. Option B, ~/.ssh/keys. Option C, ~/.ssh/authorized_keys. Option D, ~/.ssh/keyf.
The correct answer is option C, ~/.ssh/authorized_keys. The correct answer is option C because ~/.ssh/authorized_keys best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 120. A Linux administrator needs to create a new user named user02. However, user02 must be in a different home directory, which is under /CompTIA/projects. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, user-d/CompTIA/projects user02. Option B, user-m/CompTIA/projects user02. Option C, user-b/CompTIA/projects user02. Option D, user-s/CompTIA/projects user02.
The correct answer is option A, user-d/CompTIA/projects user02. The correct answer is option A because user-d/CompTIA/projects user02 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 121. One leg of unlogical volume manager -mirrored volume failed due to the underlying physical volume, and a systems administrator is troubleshooting the issue. The following output has been provided based on the provided output given this scenario. Which of the following should the administrator do to recover this volume? Option A, reboot the server. The volume will automatically go back to linear mode. Option B, replace the failed drive and reconfigure the mirror. Option C, reboot the server. The volume will revert to stripe mode. Option D, recreate th.
The correct answer is option B. Replace the failed drive and reconfigure the mirror. The correct answer is option B because replace the failed drive and reconfigure the mirror best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 122. A systems administrator created a new Docker image called test. After building the image, the administrator forgot to version the release. Which of the following will allow the administrator to assign the v1 version to the image? Option A, Docker image save test v1. Option B, Docker image build test v1. Option C, Docker image tag test v1. Option D, Docker image version test v1.
The correct answer is option C, Docker image tag test v1. The correct answer is option C because Docker image tag test v1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 123. A Linux systems administrator receives a notification that one of the server's file systems is full. Which of the following commands would help the administrator to identify this file system? Option A, lsblk. Option B, fdisk. Option C, df-h. Option D, do-a.
The correct answer is option C, df-h. The correct answer is option C because df-h best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 124. A systems administrator is notified that the MySQLD process stopped unexpectedly. The systems administrator issues the following command: sudo grep -i or out of memory /var/log. The output of the command shows the following: kernel out of memory kill process 9112 MySQLD score 511 or sacrifice child. Which of the following commands should the systems administrator execute next to troubleshoot this issue? Select 2. Option A, free-h. Option B, nc-v127.0.0.1336. Option C, renus-$15 MySQL. Option D, system+status service. Option E, journal-exe. Option F, free-hf. vmstat-a14.
The correct answers are options A and F, free-h, free-hf, vmstat-a14. The correct answer is option A, F because free-h and free-hf, vmstat-a14 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 125. Users have reported that the interactive sessions were lost on a Linux server. A Linux administrator verifies the server was switched to rescue.target mode for maintenance. Which of the following commands will restore the server to its usual target? Option A, telnet 0. Option B, system-to-reboot. Option C, system-to-get-default. Option D, system-to-emergency.
The correct answer is option B, system-to-reboot. The correct answer is option B because system-to-reboot best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 126. A systems administrator was tasked with assigning the temporary Internet Protocol address /netmask 192.168.168.255.255.255.255 to the interface eth0 of a Linux server. When adding the address, the following error appears: number sign IP address add 192.168.168.1/33 dev eth0 error any valid prefix is expected rather than 192.168.168.1/33 based on the command and its output above. Which of the following is the cause of the issue? Option A. The CIDR value /33 should be /32 instead. Option B. There is no route to 192.168.168.1/33. Option C, system+status service. Option D, journal-exe.
The correct answer is option A. The CIDR value /33 should be /32 instead. The correct answer is option A because the CIDR value /33 should be /32 instead best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 127. A Linux user reported the following error after trying to connect to the system remotely: /ssh connect to host 10.0.1.10 port 22 resource temporarily unavailable. The Linux systems administrator executed the following commands in the Linux system while trying to diagnose this issue: based on the provided output, which of the following commands will resolve this issue? Option A, firewall-cmd-zone equals public-permanent-add-service equals 22. Option B, systemtl enable firewalled systemtl restart firewalled. Option C, firewall-cmd-zone. Option D, systemtl status service.
The correct answer is option C, firewall-cmd-zone. The correct answer is option C because firewall-cmd-zone best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 128. A Linux administrator has been tasked with installing the most recent versions of packages on a Red Hat Package Manager-based operating system. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, app-get upgrade. Option B, rpm-a. Option C, yum update info. Option D, DNF update.
The correct answer is option D, DNF update. The correct answer is option D because DNF update best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 129. A Linux administrator needs to expand a volume group using a new disk. Which of the following options presents the correct sequence of commands to accomplish the task? Option A, probev creative extend. Option B, creative diskpart probe. Option C, diskpart probemps. Option D, disk creative gextend.
The correct answer is option D, disk creative gextend. The correct answer is option D because disk creative gextend best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 130. Which of the following directories is the mount point in a unified extensible firmware interface system? Option A, /sys/fe. Option B, /boot/fe. Option C, /fe. Option D, /etc/fe.
The correct answer is option B, /boot/fe. The correct answer is option B because /boot/fe best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 131. A Linux administrator copied a Git repository locally, created a feature branch, and committed some changes to the feature branch. Which of the following Git actions should the Linux administrator use to publish the changes to the main branch of the remote repository? Option A, rebase. Option B, tag. Option C, commit. Option D, push.
The correct answer is option D, push. The correct answer is option D because push best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 132. A Linux administrator needs to obtain a list of all volumes that are part of a volume group. Which of the following commands should the administrator use to accomplish this task? Option A, VGS. Option B, LVS. Option C, disk-1. Option D, PVS.
The correct answer is option B, LVS. The correct answer is option B because LVS best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 133. A Linux administrator is adding a new configuration file to a Git repository. Which of the following describes the correct order of Git commands to accomplish the task successfully? Option A, pull-greater than push-greater than add-greater than checkout. Option B, pull-greater than add-greater than commit-greater than push. Option C, checkout-greater than push-greater than add-greater than pull. Option D, pull-greater than add-greater than push-greater than commit.
The correct answer is option B, pull-greater than add-greater than commit-greater than push. The correct answer is option B because pull-greater than add-greater than commit-greater than push best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 134. A systems administrator is tasked with mounting a USB drive on a system. The USB drive has a single partition, and it has been mapped by the system to the device/dev/SDB. Which of the following commands will mount the USB to /media/USB? Option A, mount /dev/SDB1/media/USB. Option B, mount/dev/sdb0/media/USB. Option C, mount/dev/sdb/media/USB. Option D, mount-TUSB/dev/sdb1/media/USB.
The correct answer is option A, mount/dev/sdb1/media/USB. The correct answer is option A because mount/dev/sdb1/media/USB best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 135. User 1 is a member of the accounting group. Members of this group need to be able to execute but not make changes to a script maintained by user 2. The script should not be accessible to other users or groups. Which of the following will give proper access to the script? Option A, chown user2:accounting script.html750 script.sh. Option B, chown user1:accounting script.html777 script.sh. Option C, chown accounting:user1 script.html057 script.sh. Option D, chown user2:accounting script.html plus X script.sh.
The correct answer is option A, chown user2:accounting script.html750 script.sh. The correct answer is option A because chown user2:accounting script.html750 script.sh best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 136. A systems administrator needs to verify whether the built container has the app.go file in its root directory. Which of the following can the administrator use to verify the root directory has this file? Option A, Docker image inspect. Option B, Docker container inspect. Option C, Docker exec less than container underscore name greater than ls. Option D, Docker ps less than container underscore name greater than.
The correct answer is option C, Docker exec less than container underscore name greater than ls. The correct answer is option C because Docker exec less than container underscore name greater than ls best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 137. A Linux administrator is reviewing changes to a configuration file that includes the following section: tls certificates -cert file /etc /ssl cert.circy file /etc /ssl cert.keystores default cert file /etc /ssl expired.siri file /etc /ssl expired.keystores. Expired. The Linux administrator is trying to select the appropriate syntax formatter to correct any issues with the configuration file. Which of the following should the syntax formatter support to meet this goal? Option A, Markdown. Option B, Hexam. Option C, YAMLed. Option D, Access Control Policy.
The correct answer is option C, YAMLed. The correct answer is option C because YAMLed best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 138. A systems administrator is investigating an issue in which one of the servers is not booting up properly. The journal entries show the following: September 16, 20:30:43 server kernel ACPI info 03:00:OSC failed AE not found subject unit dev mapper CentOS \x2 dap.device has failed sep 16:20:32:15 server systemd 1 dependency failed for /opt/app subject unit opt-app.mount has failed unit opt-app.mount has failed sep 16:20:32:15 server systemd 1 dependency failed for local file syst. Option A, comment of the /opt/app file system in /etc/stab and reboot. Option B, system status service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, Comment out the /opt/up file system and /etc/stab and reboot. The correct answer is option A because comment out the /opt/up file system and /etc/stab and reboot best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 139. A Linux administrator found many containers in an exited state. Which of the following commands will allow the administrator to clean up the containers in an exited state? Option A, docker rm-all. Option B, docker rm $docker ps-aq. Option C, docker images prune wildcard. Option D, docker rm-state exited.
The correct answer is option B, docker rm $docker ps-aq. The correct answer is option B because docker rm $docker ps-aq best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 140. A Linux systems administrator receives reports from various users that an application hosted on a server has stopped responding at similar times for several days in a row. The administrator logs into the system and obtains the following output: based on the provided output, which of the following should the administrator do to provide the best solution for the reported issue? Option A, configure memory allocation policies during business hours and prevent the Java process from going into a zombie state while the. Option B, system+data service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, configure the swap space to allow for spikes in usage during peak hours and prevent the Java process from stopping due to a lack of memory.
The correct answer is option D. Configure the swap space to allow for spikes in usage during peak hours and prevent the Java process from stopping due to a lack of memory. The correct answer is option D because configure the swap space to allow for spikes in usage during peak hours and prevent the Java process from stopping due to a lack of memory best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 141. A Linux administrator reviews a set of log output files and needs to identify files that contain any occurrence of the word denied. All log files containing entries in uppercase or lowercase letters should be included in the list. Which of the following commands should the administrator use to accomplish this task? Option A, find -type f-print pipe-ecrags grep-ln denied. Option B, find -type f-print pipe-ecrags grep-nv denied. Option C, find -type f-print pipe-ecrags grep-wl denied. Option D, find -type f-print pipe-ecrags gr.
The correct answer is option D, find -type f-print pipe-ecrags gr. The correct answer is option D because find -type f-print pipe-ecrags gr best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 142. A cloud engineer needs to launch a container named web-01 in background mode. Which of the following commands will accomplish this task? Option A, docker builder-f-name web-01 httpd. Option B, docker load-name web-01 httpd. Option C, docker ps-a-name web-01 httpd. Option D, docker run-d-name web-01 httpd.
The correct answer is option D, docker run-d-name web-01 httpd. The correct answer is option D because docker run-d-name web-01 httpd best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 143. A Linux administrator is providing a new Linux image from the registry to local cache. Which of the following commands would allow this to happen? Option A, docker pull links. Option B, docker attach links. Option C, docker commit links. Option D, docker import links.
The correct answer is option A, docker pull links. The correct answer is option A because docker pull links best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 144. Which of the following tools is best suited to orchestrate a large number of containers across many different servers? Option A, Kubernetes. Option B, Ansible. Option C, Podman. Option D, Terraform.
The correct answer is option A, Kubernetes. The correct answer is option A because Kubernetes best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 145. A Linux administrator is installing a web server and needs to check whether web traffic has already been allowed through the firewall. Which of the following commands should the administrator use to accomplish this task? Option A, firewalled query-service-http. Option B, firewall-cmd-check-service http. Option C, firewall-cmd-query-service http. Option D, firewall-check-service http.
The correct answer is option C, firewall-cmd-query-service http. The correct answer is option C because firewall-cmd-query-service http best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 146. A systems administrator is encountering performance issues. The administrator runs a command with the following output: :09:10:18 up 457 days, 32 minutes, 5 users, load average :4.226.6035.58. The Linux server has the following system properties: :central processing unit 4 vCPU memory :50 GB. Which of the following accurately describes this situation? Option A. The system is under central processing unit pressure and will require additional vCPUs. Option B. The system has been running for over a year and requires a reboot. Option C. Too many users occur. Option D. System status service.
The correct answer is option A. The system is under central processing unit pressure and will require additional vCPUs. The correct answer is option A because the system is under central processing unit pressure and will require additional vCPUs best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 147. A Linux administrator has set up a new domain name system forwarder and is configuring all internal servers to use the new forwarder to look up external domain name system requests. The administrator needs to modify the firewall on the server for the domain name system forwarder to allow the internal servers to communicate to it and make the changes persistent between server reboots. Which of the following commands should be run on the domain name system forwarder server to accomplish this task? Option A, UFO allow out DNS. Option B, system to reload firewalled. Option C, IPTA. Option D, firewall-cmd-zone equals public-add-port equals 53/UDP-permanent.
The correct answer is option D, firewall-cmd-zone equals public-add-port equals 53/UDP-permanent. The correct answer is option D because firewall-cmd-zone equals public-add-port equals 53/UDP-permanent best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 148. A Linux engineer receives reports that files created within a certain group are being modified by users who are not group members. The engineer wants to reconfigure the server so that only file owners and group members can modify new files by default. Which of the following commands would accomplish this task? Option A, Claude 775. Option B, omask 002. Option C, shatter-rv. Option D, chown-cf.
The correct answer is option B, omask 002. The correct answer is option B because omask 002 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 149. A Linux systems administrator needs to copy files and directories from server A to server. Option A, rsyslog. Option B, cp. Option C, rsync. Option D, reposync. Option E, scp. Option F, ssh.
The correct answers are options C and E, rsync, scp. The correct answer is option C, E because rsync and scp best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 150. A Linux administrator rebooted a server. Users then reported some of their files were missing. After doing some troubleshooting, the administrator found one of the file systems was missing. The file system was not listed in /etc/stab and might have been mounted manually by someone prior to reboot. Which of the following would prevent this issue from reoccurring in the future? Option A. Sync the mount units. Option B. Mount the file system manually. Option C. Create a mount unit and enable it to be started at boot. Option D. System to status service.
The correct answer is option C. Create a mount unit and enable it to be started at boot. The correct answer is option C because create a mount unit and enable it to be started at boot best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 151. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving usermod-s/bin/bash joe? Option A. usermod-s/bin/bash joe. Option B. System to status service. Option C. journal-exe. Option D. firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A. usermod-s/bin/bash joe. The correct answer is option A because usermod-s/bin/bash joe best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 152. A developer reported an incident involving the application configuration file /etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf that is missing from the server. Which of the following identifies the Red Hat Package Manager package that installed the configuration file? Option A. rpm-qf/etc/conf/httpd/httpd.conf. Option B. rpm-ql/etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf. Option C. rpm-query/etc/conf/httpd/conf/httpd.conf. Option D. rpm-q/etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf.
The correct answer is option A. rpm-q/etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf. The correct answer is option A because rpm-q/etc/httpd/conf/httpd.conf best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 153. Which Linux administration choice is correct for this scenario involving mb/home/tempa/home/temp/temp? Option A. System to status service. Option B. mb/home/tempa/tempa/home/temp/temp. Option C. journal-exe. Option D. firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option B. mv/home/tempa/home/temp/temp. The correct answer is option B because mv/home/tempa/home/temp/temp best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 154. A Linux administrator has logged into a server for the first time and needs to know which services are allowed through the firewall. Which of the following options will return the results for which the administrator is looking? Option A. firewall-cmd-get-services. Option B. firewall-cmd-check-config. Option C. firewall-cmd-list-services. Option D. System to status firewalled.
The correct answer is option C, firewall-cmd-list-services. The correct answer is option C because firewall-cmd-list-services best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 155. After installing a new version of a package, a systems administrator notices a new version of the corresponding .service file was installed. In order to use the new version of the .service file, which of the following commands must be issued first? Option A, system to status. Option B, system to stop. Option C, system to reinstall. Option D, system to daemon-reload.
The correct answer is option D, systemtl daemon-reload. The correct answer is option D because systemtl daemon-reload best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 156. Which of the following commands is used to configure the default permissions for new files? Option A, ctenforce. Option B, sudo. Option C, omask. Option D, chmod.
The correct answer is option C, omask. The correct answer is option C because omask best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 157. A Linux administrator needs to connect securely to a remote server in order to install application software. Which of the following commands would allow this connection? Option A, scpabc-key.pemroot at 10.0.0.1. Option B, sftp root at 10.0.0.1. Option C, telnet 10.0.0.180. Option D, ssh-iabc-key.pemroot at 10.0.0.1.
The correct answer is option A, scpabc-key.pemroot at 10.0.0.1. The correct answer is option A because scpabc-key.pemroot at 10.0.0.1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 158. In order to copy data from another VLAN, a systems administrator wants to temporarily assign Internet Protocol address 10.0.6.5/24 to the newly added network interface in please 0f1. Which of the following commands should the administrator run to achieve the goal? Option A, IP address add 10.0.6.5/24 dev in please 0f1. Option B, echo IPv4 address equals 10.0.6.5/24 greater than / etc /sysconfig /network scripts /if in please 0f1. Option C, ifconfig 10.0.6.5/24 and slows 0f1. Option D, mclicon add IPv4 address equals 10.0.6.5/24 if name snpls 0f1.
The correct answer is option A, IP address at 10.0.6.5/24 dev and please 0f1. The correct answer is option A because IP address at 10.0.6.5/24 dev and please 0f1 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 159. A Linux engineer needs to download a zip file and wants to set the nice value to -10 for this new process. Which of the following commands will help to accomplish the task? Option A, $-v-10 agit https://foo.com/installation.zip. Option B, $-renus-v-10 agit https://foo.com/installation.zip. Option C, $-renus-10 agit https://foo.com/installation.zip. Option D, $-nice-10 agit https://foo.com/installation.zip.
The correct answer is option D, $-nice-10 agit https://foo.com/installation.zip. The correct answer is option D because $-nice-10 agit https://foo.com/installation.zip best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 160. Which of the following data structures is written in JavaScript object notation? Option A, --name:\user1 position DevOps floor 3. Option B, less than table greater than t-body greater than tr greater than td greater than user1 less than / td greater than td greater than DevOps less than / td greater than td greater than 3 less than / td greater than tr greater than t-body greater than table greater than. Option C, less than root greater than less than floor greater than 3 less than / floor greater than less than name greater than use 1 less than / name greater than less than position greater than DevOps less than / position greater than less than / root greater than. Option D, name user 1, job DevOps, floor 3.
The correct answer is option D, name user 1, job DevOps, floor 3. The correct answer is option D because name user 1, job DevOps, floor 3 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 161. Which of the following enables administrators to configure and enforce multi-factor authentication on a Linux system? Option A, Kerberos. Option B, Security Enhanced Linux. Option C, Pluggable Authentication Modules. Option D, PKI.
The correct answer is option C, Pluggable Authentication Modules. The correct answer is option C because Pluggable Authentication Modules best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 162. A database administrator requested the installation of a custom database on one of the servers. Which of the following should the Linux administrator configure so the requested packages can be installed? Option A, // etc. /im.conf. Option B, / etc. /ssh /sshd.conf. Option C, / etc. /im.repos.d /db.repo. Option D, / etc. /resolve.conf.
The correct answer is option C, / etc. /im.repos.d /db.repo. The correct answer is option C because / etc. /im.repos.d /db.repo best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 163. In which of the following file systems are system logs commonly stored? Option A, / var. Option B, / tmp. Option C, / etc. Option D, / opt.
The correct answer is option A, / var. The correct answer is option A because / var best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 164. A systems administrator has been unable to terminate a process. Which of the following should the administrator use to forcibly stop the process? Option A, kill-1. Option B, kill-3. Option C, kill-15. Option D, kill-hup.
The correct answer is option B, kill-3. The correct answer is option B because kill-3 best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 165. A systems administrator is compiling a report containing information about processes that are listening on the network ports of a Linux server. Which of the following commands will allow the administrator to obtain the needed information? Option A, ss-plnt. Option B, dump-nl. Option C, netstat-pn. Option D, soft-lt.
The correct answer is option A, ss-plnt. The correct answer is option A because ss-plnt best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 166. At what point is the internal certificate authority created? Option A. During the primary security management server installation process. Option B. Upon creation of a certificate. Option C. When an administrator decides to create one. Option D. When an administrator initially logs into Smart Console.
The correct answer is option A, during the primary security management server installation process. The correct answer is option A because during the primary security management server installation process best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 167. Rugged appliances are small appliances with ruggedized hardware and like Quantum Spark appliance they use which operating system? Option A, CentOS Linux. Option B, Gaia Embedded. Option C, Gaia. Option D, Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 5.
The correct answer is option B, Gaia Embedded. The correct answer is option B because Gaia Embedded best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 168. Using AD query, the security gateway connections to the Active Directory domain controllers using what protocol? Option A, Windows Management Instrumentation. Windows Management Instrumentation. Option B, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Secure. Option C, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Option D, Remote Desktop Protocol. Remote Desktop Protocol.
The correct answer is option C, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. The correct answer is option C because Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 169. What is the main objective when using application control? Option A, to filter out specific content. Option B, to assist the firewall blade with handling traffic. Option C, to see what users are doing. Option D, ensure security and privacy of information.
The correct answer is option D, ensure security and privacy of information. The correct answer is option D because ensure security and privacy of information best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 170. Which command or configuration item best matches this Linux administration task? Option A 1. Create /dev/sdd2. vgextend vdata/dev/sdd3. lextend-l plus 10 GB /dev/mapper/vdata-data4. resize 3fs/dev/mapper/vdata-data. Option B, system-to-stata service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A. 1. Create /dev/sdd2. vgextend vdata/dev/sdd3. lextend-l plus 10 GB /dev/mapper/vdata-data4. resize 3fs/dev/mapper/vdata-data. The correct answer is option A because 1. Create /dev/sdd2. vgextend vdata/dev/sdd3. lextend-l plus 10 GB /dev/mapper/vdata-data4. resize 3fs/dev/mapper/vdata-data best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.
Question 171. Which command or configuration item best matches this Linux administration task? Option A, log. $1/6 $/tmp/temp/file-exip-done. Option B, system-to-stata service. Option C, journal-exe. Option D, firewall-cmd-list-services.
The correct answer is option A, log. $1/6 $/tmp/temp/file-exip-done. The correct answer is option A because log. $1/6 $/tmp/temp/file-exip-done best satisfies the Linux administration requirement described in the question.